Oh, forget Fergie time. It's now known as Rooney time down at Home Park. Just why are Plymouth scoring so many extra time goals? That's our topic on this week's action-packed Pilgrim's Walk. We're also talking about Netflix documentaries, bin juice, Christmas fixtures, who's out of contract in the summer, and the FA Cup draw is drawn next week. What is Plymouth Argyle's dream tie? And this week we are joined by Chris. Connor is back. Jaden, and our guest this week is Freddie. Welcome. Freddie, let's jump straight into it then. Chris, where were you sat when Andre Gray hit that second perler? Right behind it?
Yeah, no, literally just above him in the main grandstand, Mark. Absolute resilience at its best. Never leave early at an home park match.
Okay. Freddie, welcome to Pilgrim's Walk. We're delighted to have you along with us. Can you explain to us from your point of view why we're getting to see so many late goals this season at Home Park?
I think there's a bit of a evening all. I think there's a bit of a lack of quality in the squad, and so what we do have is a lot of togetherness. And the other thing, of course, is we have our fans behind us. And if it's a close game and we're still in it, like we were on Friday against Watford, even though we've been outplayed for 85, 90 minutes. You still thought, well, give one chance and we can take it and get back in the game. But yeah, I think it's just that we play to the 96th minute and teams almost a bit thrown by it, other than anything else.
Absolutely. Connor, Herbs said on Twitter, we're definitely seem to be outlasting some teams, which has so often been a strength of ours in the past. I wonder about all these injuries, particularly the ones sustained in training. Is it something different we're doing this season, or just the faster pitches in general? How much do you agree with that it is clearly something to do with fitness or the way they're being trained, the reason that you're still in games at the end? Because, I mean, Watford looked tired on 85 minutes, but you didn't.
Yeah, no, it's a weird one because we're sustaining a lot of injuries, but we're killing the games at the death, almost like. So it is a weird one to try and work out where it's going wrong. Maybe it is the pure intensity of going training, game, playing, running your heart out for the whole time and then going back into training on the Monday. And that's where we're sustaining the injuries, is just because everything just might seem full on.
Cheers for that. Jaden, the stats don't lie, though. Let's have a look at them again, shall we? Just come back to that point in a second. Sunderland, Edwards, Luton, of course, Sissoko's goal, Blackburn, Whittaker, Preston, Whittaker's goal in the 90th minute, although that was I think, a tap in. Portsmouth, and of course the Watford one. 6 now goals in the 90th minute. Is it good coaching or good luck?
I would say it is good coaching, but that's just because we come back in all the games, and you've got to give some credit to the manager when it's like that, because the team obviously digs deep, and in previous seasons we haven't as much as we are this season. So I wouldn't put it down to good fortune. I'd say it's good coaching at the end of the day.
Okay. Chris, does it mask over a little bit, though, the overall performance? Because yet again, there were people saying, well, all right, we got a point, but let's not forget, as James says here, make no mistake about it, we are poor. 2 lovely goals, completely covering the fact that we were poor. Gayabi, Gray and Randall were only good players today. Whittaker and Obafemi were absolutely useless. No effort or quality at all, added to Ryan saying it's a point and 2 spectacular goals, but it papers over another woeful performance. Do you agree?
Yeah, it's very difficult to knock those comments, Mark, to be honest with you. It was the proverbial game of 2 halves. We were shocking in the first half. We really were. Our defending was a mess. They scored 2 horrendous goals, which could easily have been prevented. Second half, different tale. We looked good. We were on the front foot, and we deserved that equaliser. And to get it in the 95th minute, or it was actually 96, because they put on 5 minutes of extra time. We scored in 96 due to their time wasting and going down, look as though they've been sniped every time they were either on the ball or off it, and they were falling down like flies. Absolute shocking display. We thought it was Wickham back in Division 1 again. We was hoping to get rid of all these teams with W in the front of their name who go diving like that. But no, we can add Watford to that list. And we had Andre Gray, absolute class, 2 brilliant goals. Van Persie, and what a shot in the end. No one was stopping that.
Yeah, absolutely. The second goal was something special as well. As a neutral watching it, yeah, absolutely love goals like that. Freddie, is Hallett under a little bit of pressure now? Then, come January, given the squad depth, injuries stretching you, the performances are not great. Relegation is another possibility. Is he under pressure to spend a bit now?
No, I don't think he is. I think if you've got to be realistic. You've just got to be realistic with us in the position that we are. I know I can see a few faces, but you've got to take a step back, see where we are, look at the bigger perspective, and think, right, we're putting ourselves in the position where we can keep building year after year after year in the Championship. We're not a club that can go out and spend £4 or £5 million on one player for the moment. That might happen. It might change in a couple of years' time. Simon Hallett's openly said he's looking for investment. He's not the guy who can take us forward. He's already openly admitted that. I would like to see a bit more news in terms of who the next investor is going to be, because at the minute it's all been hush-hush. We were told it was going to happen in the summer. It obviously has been delayed and we don't know any further. But, the budget was set in stone pre-season, so I don't think... we've all been watching Argyle for 5 years under Simon Hallett, and that's not really changed under what we're seeing. So, yeah, I think there'll be some pressure from fans, but the reality is, will we see big investment? I don't think so.
Connor, you furrowed your brow there. Do you disagree?
It's sink or swim. If we don't put this money into that squad, we will sink. The squad as it is, even with some of the players we have, we're not Championship quality. I was saying this the squad we have now is worse than the squad we came up with, in my opinion. There's just such a massive lack of depth. Yes, the manager we have can use youth because he's good with that, and that's something he's proven in his philosophy from previous clubs. But the money, you need to show us the money. You need to buy a player and just show that there's something to you, that you're willing to keep us alive. In my opinion, I've been banging this drum for a very long time. So even when we were in League One, top of the league, I was there we need a statement of intent to show that we're here and we're here to stay. There was no money reinvested really from the sale of Cooper. It was just the initial transfer budget that they were given at the start of the season that was bought on them. So we need to see a return on that. And rumours with the investors were, but the investment, they wanted it to go on the squad. And Simon Hallett wanted to spend it on infrastructure again, which is why I don't believe that he is the guy to take us any further forward or stay with us for longer. But thank you for everything you've done in the past, but he's just not for me.
Okay. Jayden, the most informed player at the moment in the Championship is one Finn Azaz at Borough. We saw this tweet from Elliot this week saying Argyle not throwing everything at Villa for Azaz last January is possibly the worst decision this club has made in a long time. Lots of people jumped on the back of that and said, hold on a second, we could afford the fee, but not the 30 grand wages a week he's on. Do you agree with those people climbing that one down, or do you think you should have done more to secure his services?
Well, it's pretty obvious from the form this season that we probably should have signed him over Whitaker. But like you say, the wages would have obviously been a problem with Hallett and no investors, stuff like that, like you guys have just been saying. But yeah, I think he obviously would have been a better signing than Whitaker on terms of this season. But Whitaker could have probably did keep us up last season in certain moments. So you can't really complain. But he's definitely someone who we should have looked at a lot more at trying to bring in permanently.
All right, thank you for that one. Some big games this week, which we'll come on to in a minute. How many of you are making the trip to Norwich? Hats off to you if you are. My goodness, what a journey that is on a midweek. But if you're travelling, well, yeah, credit to you. The other news coming out this week is that there's a documentary been agreed, which Rooney's going to be taking part in, we believe, this season. Chris, I'll come to you for this one. Are you for this?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, I really
You
am.
surprised me.
No, I'm all for it. From what I'm led to believe, Mark, I think you'll find it should be about 70% on Plymouth Argyle, 20% on Wayne Rooney, and 10% about the city. Now, if any of that comes together and gets us this investor, which we desperately need, 100% for it. We're getting put on the map now. We're even getting mentioned in the jungle. We're getting mentioned in Australia. That's never happened to us before. Now, if things like this come up, then these investors think, hang on a minute, Plymouth in a bad place here, and they can see it, on their screen, on their documentary, stroke Netflix. Yeah, 100% for it. We've got to get somebody behind us. We've been promised investors for a long time. Nothing's been forthcoming. So if this is the way to head, that's going to get us that. Game on.
Okay. Ready? I'll play devil's advocate here. Then it's a bit of a distraction, isn't it? Cameras in the dressing room. Players having to do interviews. Surely the focus should be on keeping this club up, shouldn't it?
I think it's a bit of a non-story, really. It's like the club media do their thing every week and get in the players' faces anyway. So it's just another camera crew. Just got to get on with it. I'm not particularly pro or against it, but yeah, I can see both sides of the coin. It's just a case of just getting on with it. We knew. I mean, if the board didn't know what they were doing with hiring Rooney in the first place, I think we're all fairly in agreement that there was that media side of it when they hired him. Then I mean, you just got to get on with it. So yeah, I don't really have a strong opinion either way.
Okay. All right. I'm not going to push any of you on this, am I? No. All right. Let's talk about another disagreement then that's come out on Twitter over this weekend. Connor, this was what Callum Burton wrote following his side's Wrexham side's win over Exeter. Home debut, 3 points and a clean sheet. Always enjoy beating the bin juice of Devon as well. Now that has not gone down well at all. I'm guessing as a Janner, you must have raised a bit of a chuckle at that.
What a boy. What a boy. He's already achieved more than Exeter have in their whole history. So, absolute hero.
The Exeter fans, as if you've seen much of their replies, but it hasn't been really kind to that. Jaden, you don't mind that though, do you? It's just a bit of harmless fun. Is he taking it too far with the bin juice comment?
I love it. It's football banter at its best, isn't it? It's just quality. Yeah, the rivalry that still stands, and he's a part of it. And it's good to see past players who've left and still, have that love for their previous clubs. So it's great. Yeah, I love it.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, let's switch gear then a minute and let's talk about the Christmas fixtures for a second. Let's bring them up on here, Chris. Let's get your view on all of this. As we mentioned, a long trip to Norwich and then a long trip, shorter trip to Bristol City, shall we say? And then, what do you make of the run in after that? Then your Christmas fixtures see you play Oxford twice, Swansea, Coventry, and then some tough games just before Christmas in Sheffield United and Middlesbrough. How many points, Chris, do you expect to be picking up in this run?
There's some tough games there, Mark. Let's be honest. Our record away is well known. 2 goals so far this season, 2 points. We're certainly not going to get nothing against the likes of Sheffield United. I can't see us getting much at Coventry on Boxing Day, to be fair. Norwich City tomorrow's and equally as tough. So the 3 away fixtures there, I'm not expecting much. Bristol City on this coming Saturday, I'll be up there for that. Yeah, and it's the proverbial, I'll take a point. But our home fixtures are going to be really important to us. Swansea and Oxford United, you'd like to be thinking you're going to get 6 points from that. If we got a point or 2 from away, that would be incredible. I can't honestly see it. The closest we're going to get to it is probably the last one there, 29th of December against Oxford. That's a winnable game for us.
Mm-hmm. Freddie, there's this weird fixture congestion here thing with nine games in 30 odd games. It's good for fans, but do you understand where footballers come from and managers come from saying there's just too much football at this time of year? Or just shut up and get on with it?
It's difficult because you've got the 3 international breaks in September, October, and November, which obviously takes away a good chunk of time. I mean, the Championship's always been 46 games. It's always been really congested at this time of year, every single year. It's not changed. I do personally think that maybe 20 teams a league would be fine, but I haven't got a problem with it per se. It's sort of as the status quo, and I think it's helped us that we're not in. Now we're not in League One. Obviously, we're not in that cup that keeps changing its name every 2 minutes, and we get knocked out of the Carabao very quickly. So we're not normally in too many other competitions. So I don't really see a massive problem. It's part and parcel. You just got to get on with it. These players have had 3 holidays: September, October, November. So you're gearing up now for the crunch period.
Okay. Well, stay with us on this channel as we review all 46 games, as we have done the previous 16 so far. Drop us a subscribe if you haven't done so already. We know there's lots of great Plymouth content out there, but we'd love to have you along with us. Connor, the January transfer window will open, of course, in a month's time. Before we get to that kind of discussion and whether you'll be signing anybody, can we have a look at, first of all, the players that are out of contract for Argyle in the summer, and whether you think any will be, or any certainly should be offered a new deal, and whether there'll be any vultures swooping for any of them. There's 3 which we've calculated, transfermarket.com have calculated that are out of contract. Houghton, Pleggy and Bundu are all out of contract in the summer. What would you do with those 3 if you were in charge?
Pleggy, you got to keep Pleggy. Absolutely been solid so far. Bundu, I think he's actually rumoured to have been offered one, hasn't he? And Houghton, as much as I love Houghton for what he's been in the past, like in that League One promotion season, everything went through him. But that baton now has almost been handed over to Adam Randall full time. He is the clock that makes the team tick. So I don't know what I do with Houghton, whether it's a depth option, but at this level we can get better players in. And I'd love to see us sign Darko JB, but that's not going to happen.
Jayden, presuming you do stay up, and let's say you finish 20th or 19th, what about the green loan players there? Do you think you'd be able to grab any of them on a permanent?
No, half of them I wouldn't really bother with. JB's probably the only one I'd really care about too much. The one thing I would do, and it would have to be pretty soon, is get Archie Gray a new contract, because he needs one for what he did at the weekend alone. He's off. I think his contract ends on like the 31st of December. Or something like that, because you're only a 3-month one or something. So we need to get him a new contract. And yeah, Pleggy definitely needs to stay.
All right, cheers for that, Jayden. Put in the comments below who you think should be offered a new contract or not. FA Cup draw is next weekend, of course. I guess Plymouth fans could or could not care less about FA Cup, given survival's the most important thing. But if we could give you any one plum draw, what would it be? Where would it be at? Chris, you go first for us on this one.
Yeah, got to be a home draw, Mark. It's one of the big boys, your Tottenhams, your Chelseas, your Liverpool, Man United. Let's get one of them at home. We could actually give them a really good game at Home Park. Away it's a different scenario, but at Home Park, we fancy our chances.
Right, good shout. Connor?
Newcastle or Villa away. They're amazing places for the nightlife.
Just thinking about the beer, aren't you? Okay, fair enough. Freddie?
Goodison for me before Everton. I've never been there, and I would quite like to go there before they change grounds. And obviously Rooney's old club, so yeah, that would be my ideal draw.
Great shout. Jayden?
Exeter away.
Away? Ooh. Would you even enjoy that?
Sorry?
Would you even enjoy that? Wouldn't you be too nervous?
Nah. We'd win.
Okay. All right. So 4 different views there. Which one do you believe would be the right one? Of course, you're probably going to end up with Preston at home, aren't you, or something like that. It never falls that way. Right, team. Thank you very much all this week. Lots to talk about there. Thank you very much for watching. We'll obviously be reviewing, of course, the Norwich and Bristol City game this time next week. So join us for that. Have a great week, everyone. Enjoy all the football that's around. See you then.